Hey everyone, welcome back. It's time for another deep dive, and this time it's one that you specifically requested.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so many of you wanted to know more about how AI is impacting Tibet, especially its culture and spiritual traditions.
That's fascinating. I have to admit, I don't know a lot about that intersection myself.
Me neither, which is why we're going to dig into it today.
Huh?
We found this great article on TATANKA called, hold on, let me get it right, Bridging Tradition and Innovation, the Role of AI in Tibet's Cultural and Spiritual Future.
Catchy title.
Right. It got me hooked. And it talks about everything from AI-powered meditation apps to virtual pilgrimages to even AI helping to decipher ancient Buddhist texts.
Wow, it
Yeah.
sounds like Tibet is really embracing AI in some unique ways.
They are. And it's this fascinating blend of ancient wisdom and cutting-edge technology.
Hmm.
One of the things that jumped out at me right away was how AI is being used to preserve these incredibly fragile Buddhist texts.
Oh yeah, I can imagine those texts are priceless.
Absolutely. Some of them are centuries old, and they're really susceptible to damage from the elements. Things like light, moisture, even just handling them can cause them to deteriorate.
So AI is like a digital guardian angel for these texts.
Exactly. They're using AI to create digital copies, essentially backing up these ancient teachings so they're not lost to time. It's like creating a digital library of Tibetan Buddhist thought.
That's brilliant. It ensures that this knowledge can be passed down to future generations.
Right. But the article also points out a concern that some people have about using AI in this way.
What's that?
The idea that AI could overshadow or even commercialize these sacred practices.
I can see why that would be a worry. These traditions are so deeply spiritual. It's important to make sure they're not exploited or trivialized by technology.
Exactly. And that's where the ethical considerations come in. The article talks about the development of specific cultural guidelines for AI applications in Tibet, making sure that AI complements these practices rather than altering their core principles.
So it's about finding that balance right.
Yeah.
Using AI as a tool to enhance and preserve, but not to replace or control.
Exactly. And one of the really exciting things about AI is how it can actually help share Tibetan culture with a wider audience in a way that's respectful and engaging.
How so?
Well, imagine things like virtual meditation retreats led by Tibetan monks, or immersive virtual pilgrimages to sacred sites in Tibet.
That would be amazing.
Right.
I can see how that would allow people all over the world to connect with these traditions in a really meaningful way.
Right. And it opens up new possibilities for education and cultural exchange.
You know what else I find fascinating? The idea of AI actually helping us understand Tibetan Buddhist philosophy on a deeper level.
Oh, yeah. Tell me more about that.
Well, the article mentioned that researchers are using AI tools to analyze Tibetan Buddhist texts, uncovering hidden patterns and insights that might have been missed by human scholars.
It's like AI is helping us unlock new layers of meaning in these ancient teachings.
Exactly. It's almost like having a new lens through which to view these ancient wisdom traditions.
I love that, a new lens. It really speaks to the adaptability of both AI and Tibetan Buddhist thought. They're both constantly evolving, seeking new ways to understand the world and ourselves.
And it's not just happening in monasteries and universities either. The article highlighted some really cool examples of Tibetan startups that are using AI in innovative ways while still staying true to their cultural heritage.
Whoa, Tibetan startups, that's awesome. What kind of things are they doing?
Well, one area that's really taking off is sustainable agriculture. They're using AI-powered drones to monitor crop health on the slopes of the Himalayas. Can you imagine that?
That's incredible, using drones in such a challenging environment.
Right. And they're also developing algorithms to analyze unique weather patterns in the region, helping farmers adapt to the effects of climate change.
So they're using AI to preserve their traditional way of life while also addressing some very real modern challenges.
Exactly. It's a great example of how technology can be used to empower communities and help them thrive in a changing world.
I'm really impressed by their ingenuity. It shows a real commitment to both preserving their culture and finding practical solutions to the problems they face.
Absolutely. And another area where they're doing some amazing things is in healthcare. They're using AI to digitize traditional Tibetan medical knowledge, which is really fascinating.
Oh, yeah. Tell me more about that.
Well, Tibetan medicine is this ancient system of healing that's deeply intertwined with Buddhist teachings, and it's been passed down orally and through manuscripts for centuries. Now they're using AI to preserve and analyze these ancient medical texts. They're even developing AI-assisted diagnostic tools that combine traditional wisdom with modern medical advancements.
It's like merging the best of both worlds, the wisdom of the past with the innovation of the present.
It really is. and it has the potential to revolutionize healthcare in Tibet, making it more accessible and effective for everyone.
I love that. It's not just about preserving the past, but also about using it to create a better future.
Exactly. And that same spirit of innovation is being applied to education as well. They're developing these really cool AI-powered learning platforms that are specifically designed for remote areas of Tibet.
That's so important, especially given the challenging geography of the region.
Right. And these platforms are incredible because they can tailor the learning experience to individual students, making sure that even those in the most isolated areas have access to quality education. And what's really important is that the content aligns with Tibetan values and culture.
So it's not just about teaching facts and figures, it's about nurturing the whole person within their cultural context.
Precisely. It's a holistic approach to education that recognizes the interconnectedness of knowledge, wisdom, and culture.
It's amazing how they're weaving AI into so many aspects of Tibetan society. But it's not just about preserving traditions and culture. AI is also being used to tackle some of the very real challenges facing Tibet, particularly in the mountainous regions.
Absolutely. Climate change is a huge concern, and AI is playing a vital role in monitoring its effects and helping communities adapt. They're using AI to develop advanced climate monitoring systems that can track things like shifting weather patterns, glacial melting, and other environmental changes. This data is crucial for understanding the impact of climate change and developing strategies to mitigate the risks.
It's like having a high-tech early warning system for the Himalayas.
Exactly. And they're also using AI to address poverty, which is another major challenge in the region. AI can analyze data to identify areas of need and help optimize resource distribution, ensuring that essential goods and services get to the people who need them most.
So they're using AI to create a more equitable and just system.
Precisely. And in healthcare, AI is being used to improve access to medical care, especially in remote areas. They're developing AI-assisted diagnostic tools to support healthcare professionals in remote clinics. And telemedicine systems powered by AI are connecting patients in those areas with doctors in urban centers, effectively bridging the gap in healthcare availability.
It's incredible how AI is being used to connect people and resources in such a challenging environment. It's like they're building a digital bridge to a better future.
It is. And it's inspiring to see how they're approaching AI with such thoughtfulness and intention, making sure it aligns with their values and their vision for the future. But with all this progress, it's important to consider the potential downsides as well.
You're right. Every coin has two sides. What are some of the challenges and concerns they're facing?
Well, one of the biggest challenges is making sure that AI development in Tibet doesn't clash with their deeply held values, particularly those rooted in Buddhist teachings.
Values like compassion, interconnectedness, respect for all living things. How do they ensure that AI reflects those values?
It's a complex question, but one they're taking very seriously. The article emphasizes the importance of inclusivity and accessibility, making sure that AI tools are designed in a way that benefits everyone in the Tibetan community, not just a select few.
It's about ensuring that AI serves the people, not the other way around.
Exactly. And transparency and accountability are crucial as well. Local communities need to have a voice in how AI is implemented and how their data is used. They need to feel empowered, not exploited by these technologies.
It's about creating a sense of shared ownership and responsibility.
Absolutely. And of course, sustainability is another major concern. AI solutions should be developed with minimal impact on Tibet's fragile environment. They're very mindful of that.
It's about finding that sweet spot where technology and nature can coexist harmoniously.
Exactly. And a lot of that comes down to collaboration. The article talks about the importance of partnerships between international tech firms and Tibetan communities, bringing together expertise and resources to create AI applications that meet the needs of the local communities while respecting their cultural values.
It's a beautiful example of how global knowledge and local wisdom can come together to create something truly innovative and beneficial.
It is. And it shows that AI can be a force for good in the world when it's developed and implemented with careful consideration and a deep understanding of the human context.
Well said. This has been such a fascinating conversation already, and we've only just scratched the surface. There's still so much more to explore.
I know, right? It's amazing how much is happening at the intersection of AI and Tibetan culture, and it's only going to get more interesting from here.
Definitely. But before we dive deeper, I want to hear about this captivating story the article mentioned about a monk named Tenzin and his encounter with an ancient manuscript. It sounds like something out of a movie.
It does, doesn't it? It's a perfect example of how AI can bridge tradition and innovation. Are you ready to hear about Tenzin's journey?
Absolutely, I'm all ears.
Okay, so imagine this. High up in the Himalayas in this remote village, there's this young monk, Tenzin, who's also a scholar. And he discovers this ancient Buddhist manuscript.
Wow, hidden away in a monastery or
We
something?
got it tucked away in this little-known archive. It's believed to hold these really important teachings. But the thing is, it's practically falling apart.
Yeah,
Centuries of wear and tear, you know?
I can only imagine. What did Tenzin do?
Well, he knows he's got to do something to save these teachings, right? So he reaches out to this global tech company that specializes in, you guessed it, AI.
No way.
Yeah.
So they team up to save this ancient manuscript using AI.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool story. They work together to develop this special program that uses machine learning to, well, basically bring the manuscript back to life digitally.
That's incredible. How does it even work? I mean, can AI actually read ancient Tibetan script?
Well, it's not reading it in the way we think of it. It's more like analyzing the patterns of the characters. The AI system uses these really sophisticated algorithms to identify those patterns, correct errors, and even fill in missing parts of the text. It's like putting together a really, really complex puzzle.
Wow. So they're basically creating a digital reconstruction of this ancient text.
Exactly. And once it's digitized, the monks in the village can access it on their computers or even their smartphones. Think about that ancient wisdom literally at their fingertips.
It's mind-blowing. It's like opening a window to the past.
It is. And it's not just about preserving the text for historical purposes either. The article talks about how the monks actually use this digitized text in their daily spiritual practice.
Really? So they're incorporating AI into their meditation and mindfulness practices.
Yeah, it's become this bridge between tradition and technology. You know, it's not one or the other, it's both.
It's like AI is helping them connect with their heritage in a whole new way.
Exactly. And it's a reminder that technology can be a powerful force for good. It can help us preserve the past, connect with each other, and even deepen our understanding of ourselves.
I love that. It's a really beautiful story. And it speaks to the broader theme we've been discussing, the way that Tibet is finding this really unique balance between preserving its traditions and embracing technological advancements.
It's really inspiring, isn't it? They're not afraid to use technology to address the challenges they face, but they're doing it in a way that's mindful of their values and their vision for the future.
It's like they're showing the world a new way forward, a path that honors the past while embracing the possibilities of the future.
I think you've hit the nail on the head there. They're showing us that progress doesn't have to come at the expense of our cultural identity.
Yeah,
It can actually enhance it.
absolutely. And that's a message I think we all need to hear right now in a world that's changing so rapidly.
I couldn't agree more.
So we've talked about the challenges, the inspiring projects, the ethical considerations. But what does it all mean for Tibet? What are the big takeaways from all this?
Well, for me, the biggest takeaway is the incredible adaptability of both AI and Tibetan culture. They're not seeing AI as a threat, but as an opportunity to preserve their heritage, to empower their communities, to even deepen their spiritual practices.
It's like they're taking the best of both worlds, the wisdom of their traditions and the power of modern technology, and they're creating something truly unique.
And it's not just about Tibet either. I think there are lessons here for all of us. As AI becomes more and more integrated into our lives, we need to be asking ourselves how we can use it in a way that benefits humanity. How can we make sure it aligns with our values and our vision for the future?
It's a question we all need to be grappling with. And I think Tibet is showing us that it's possible to find that balance, to embrace technology without losing sight of who we are.
I agree. It's about using technology to amplify our best qualities, our compassion, our creativity, our desire to connect with each other, and with our heritage.
Beautifully said. Well, this has been an incredibly insightful deep dive. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us.
It's been my pleasure.
And for our listener, if you want to learn more about this topic, we highly recommend checking out the original article on TATANKA, Bridging Tradition and Innovation, the role of AI in Tibet's cultural and spiritual future. It's a fascinating read.
Definitely.
Now, before we wrap up, I have one last question for you. Something to think about as you continue exploring this incredible world of AI. We've seen how AI is being used to preserve and revitalize Tibetan culture. But what about other cultures around the world? How can we make sure that AI is used to empower and uplift all communities, not just a select few?
That's a crucial question, and there's no easy answer. But I think a good starting point is acknowledging that technology isn't neutral. It carries the values and even biases of the people who create it. If we truly want AI to benefit everyone, we need to make sure its development is guided by diversity, equity, and inclusion.
So it's about ensuring that the people building AI represent the diversity of the world we live in.
Absolutely. We
Yeah.
need more diverse voices involved, more perspectives, more lived experiences shaping AI. If not, we risk just replicating existing inequalities and power dynamics.
It's like if you were building a house and only had one type of builder, you'd end up with a very limited kind of house. But if you bring in carpenters, electricians, plumbers, architects, all those different skills and perspectives, you can create something far more beautiful, functional, and resilient.
That's a perfect analogy,
Yeah.
and it directly applies to AI. We need to bring in people from all different backgrounds and disciplines, artists, ethicists, social scientists, philosophers, to make sure that AI reflects the richness and complexity of the human experience.
It's about a more human-centered approach to AI, one that prioritizes well-being and human flourishing. That requires not just technical skills, but also empathy, compassion, a true understanding of human values.
Exactly. And it also requires us to be very mindful of the potential unintended consequences of AI. We need to be able to anticipate and mitigate risks while also maximizing the benefits. It's a delicate balance.
It's a conversation we need to be having now, especially as AI becomes more and more integrated into our lives. We can't just sit back and let technology dictate our future. We need to actively shape the future we want.
I couldn't agree more. The future of AI isn't set in stone. We get to decide what role it plays in our lives and our world. And that means staying informed, staying engaged, and asking those difficult questions.
So, to our listener, as you continue exploring this incredible world of AI, keep those questions coming. Challenge assumptions, demand transparency, and most importantly, never lose sight of the human values that should always be guiding our technological progress.
Well said.
Thank you for joining us on this incredible deep dive into the world of AI in Tibet. We hope this sparked your curiosity to learn even more. But remember, the conversation doesn't end here. Keep exploring. Keep asking those tough questions, and keep imagining the possibilities of a future where technology serves humanity.
Until next time.
We'll catch you on our next deep dive.
Yeah, it's a huge question. And it's something we all need to be thinking about. It's not enough to just talk about diversity and inclusion. We need to actively work to make it a reality in the tech world.
Absolutely. But how do we do that? I mean, it's a systemic problem, right? It's not just about individual companies or organizations. It's about changing the culture of the entire tech industry.
Right. And that's not going to be easy.
Hmm.
But I think there are a few key things we can focus on. One is education.
Yeah.
We need to make sure that young people from all backgrounds have access to the resources and opportunities they need to pursue careers in tech.
So starting early, exposing kids to STEM fields, making sure they have the support and encouragement they need to excel.
Exactly. And it's not just about technical skills either. It's about fostering creativity, critical thinking, problem solving. Those are the skills that are going to be in high demand in the future, no matter what field you're in.
I totally agree. And I think mentorship is really important too. Having role models and mentors who can guide and inspire young people to pursue their passions.
Absolutely. Representation matters. When young people see people who look like them doing amazing things in tech, it opens up a whole new world of possibilities.
It's about breaking down those barriers and showing them that they can be anything they want to be.
Right. And another key area is funding. We need to make sure that startups and businesses led by people from underrepresented groups have access to the capital they need to succeed.
Because right now, the funding landscape is still very much skewed towards certain demographics.
It is,
Mhm.
and that's a problem. We need to create a more equitable playing field where everyone has a fair shot. And that means supporting venture capitalists and investors who are committed to diversity and inclusion.
So it's not just about writing checks. It's about investing in people and ideas that reflect the full spectrum of human experience.
Exactly. And I think it's also important to support organizations that are working to promote diversity and inclusion in tech. There are a lot of great groups out there doing amazing work.
Like Black Girls Code and Code 2040, just to name a few.
Yeah, there are so many. And they're making a real difference. They're providing mentorship training, resources, networking opportunities, all the things that people need to succeed in this industry.
It's inspiring to see so many people working to create a more inclusive and equitable tech world.
It is. And it gives me hope to the future.
Mm.
We're at a pivotal moment right now. AI is rapidly transforming our world. And it's up to us to decide what kind of future we want to create. A future where technology benefits everyone, or a future where it exacerbates existing inequalities.
It's a choice we all have to make. And I believe we can choose a better path, a path that leads to a more just and equitable world for all.
I agree. And I think the conversation we've had today is a step in the right direction. By raising awareness, by challenging assumptions, by working together, we can create a future where technology truly serves humanity.
Well said. This has been an incredibly insightful deep dive. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your expertise.
It's been my pleasure.
And to our listener, thank you for being part of this journey with us. We hope this conversation has inspired you to think critically about the role of AI in our world. And as always, we encourage you to keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep imagining the possibilities of a future where technology empowers us all.
Until next time.
Take care, everyone. We'll catch you on our next deep dive.